The Bengals are currently experiencing the hidden benefits behind paying both Jamar Chase and Tee Higgins, and in this video, I'll explain how it's exactly what one of their youngest players needs. Hi again, Bengals fans. John Sheeran of A to Z Sports Cincinnati here, and OTAs are well underway into the second week, and we're seeing some dimes from Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase. We're seeing Tee Higgins make some catches over the middle. It's very nice to see the Bengals' two-star receivers being fully involved and participating in this part of the offseason. And that, of course, was the expectation, right? After they got paid their massive contracts back in the spring, they're doing everything in their power to get ready for the season and live up to those contracts. Of course, when it comes to what they do on the field, the Bengals don't expect anything different with Chase and Higgins. They expect them to continue to make the same remarkable plays that they've made for about half a decade now. But like any job in any industry, when you get paid more, typically end up having more responsibilities. And this is a reality when it comes to veterans in the NFL. When you become one of the highest paid players, not only on your team, but around the entire league, players will naturally gravitate toward you more so than they already were. And it makes total sense, right? If you're a young player in an NFL locker room and you want to have the same or similar career to a guy who just got paid $160 million over the course of the next 4 years, naturally, you want to try to emulate everything that guy does. The team captains, the voices of reason, the guys that people look to for leadership in your locker room are typically making more money than pretty much everyone else. And that right there is the difference the Bengals are expecting from both Chase and Higgins, especially compared to this time last year. Nobody needs a reminder of how the 2024 offseason went for both Chase and Higgins. When Chase was dealing with contract extension talks, he was sitting out of voluntary workouts, he was holding in during training camp. Higgins, of course, signed his franchise tender around this time last year in the middle of June, and he showed up for training camp, and he was a good sport about it, but obviously that wasn't the outcome that he would have preferred either. When they were too wrapped up in the uncertainties of their future and whether or not they were going to get paid, I don't think they could take the necessary steps to become the leaders that the receiver rooms, or really the offense in general, needed last year. And on top of that, it was the first offseason that the coaching staff didn't have Tyler Boyd's leadership in that locker room helping them out. When Higgins and Chase came to Cincinnati in 2020 and 2021 respectively, Boyd had already been paid. He was growing into that leader of the room, and he was basically the old head of the room by the time that he left in 2024. The developments of both Higgins and Chase, not only as players, but as professionals off the field, can be largely attributed to having Boyd as that true leadership presence. And I bring all this up now because this week was the first time that we've heard Jermaine Burton speak since the end of his tumultuous rookie season. And Burton was very open with reporters about what he needs to do better, the consistency that he needs to gain this year as a professional. And he also specifically mentioned both Chase and Higgins as key figures to his ongoing growth, saying, quote, "Chase and T have done a really good job helping me in and out of the facility, talking with me, coming up with better ways, listening to some of their habits and ways they stay consistent." This is what Burton needed last year when he was entering the NFL, and there was a lot of questions about his character and his work ethic, and clearly a lot of those questions were verified with how his rookie season unfolded. But again, with Chase and Higgins so distracted with their own futures, I don't think they could have become the leaders that Burton needed. But now that they're paid and taken care of, they can comfortably establish themselves as true leaders in the locker room and people that guys like Burton can turn to. It's entirely true that since the 2022 team went to the AFC Championship, there's been a massive exodus in leadership from this Bengals locker room. And the young guys from that team need to eventually fill the shoes of the guys who are no longer here. It's still the beginning of June, but this is the exact time when those shoes can be filled. And it does sound like both T and Jamar are taking it upon themselves to do it. It truly does pay to pay your stars, and maybe there's a lesson there with another All-Pro on the team. I don't know. Just food for thought.